Trees swaying gently in the breeze under a sunset. A car left conspicuously abandoned by the side of the road. Throw in an unsettling soundtrack and a premise that's right up my alley, and I think we've got a recipe for a really spooky time. Hello everyone, and welcome to The Dire, a horror game in which we play as an Urbex vlogger, exploring some abandoned location and presumably getting much more than we bargained for. I am really excited to play this game, not just for what it is, but for who it's made by. See, this is actually by the developer of a game I played recently called Owl Lights. And that was a psychological horror game that ended up being so much more than what I was expecting, to the point of actually being probably one of my favorite games this year. So naturally, I checked the developer's page to see if they had any other projects, and this came up, released a couple years ago, and to similarly good reviews. October 20th, 2010.
5 goddamn months. Finally back.
Oh, it's voice acted. Oh, look at that weather out there.
Jeez, where did I keep those things?
Look at that, the silhouettes of windblown trees under a sky where the sun is just about to disappear, and its exit is covered by the dense black clouds. We have just enough light to see that we're in the middle of nowhere, and between the setting and the tone, given this is our job and or hobby, I can't help but be reminded of Crypta FM. Either way, I am so ready for a spooky mood. I think this is actually going to be the first thing I'm recording in the month of October this year. So, I've got those autumn chills, and I am ready for this. Annie, seriously, get yourself a new phone. I'm fed up with writing these stupid notes. Besides, we live 50 meters from each other. If we could use those cup and string phones. Sure, I'll take you urbexing, but I'm not sure about the timing. School's been really stressing me out lately. Can we talk about it tomorrow? So our friend wants to come with us, and I say why not? The more the merrier. Well, to a point. 2 is a pretty good merry number. Hey Dean, I was thinking maybe you could take me on the next urbex. I've read a bit about that mansion in Clover Springs. Maybe I could be of help? But seriously, I have absolutely nothing to do for the next month. And remember, you promised. Over and out. Alright, I mean, I'm not opposed. I'm sort of opposed now, knowing that it's a horror situation and I wouldn't want anything to happen to you, but even still... Darwin! Darwin, good to see you, buddy. See, this is such a creepy, comfy game right from the start. But let's look for our stuff. Even if there were anything in there, I couldn't see it. It's so dark. There's our backpack. Got it? Anything else? We can search all these cabinets. I'm not sure if there's anything we need, though. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. So we are an enjoyer of all things creepy and comfy. Look, we've got Darwin up on the shelf. We've got the candelabra over there. Oh yeah, I would actually love it if I could do more urbex on the channel. Part of the problem is just finding places. The other problem is, being able to do it. I mean, it's not exactly something I can do just whenever it takes my fancy. There's got to be opportunity. Oh, that's a number for a doctor. We're taking medication. Could that potentially be some foreshadowing? Oh, there's something there. I think that's our camera. Okay, the UI is telling me that it's time to head out. Is there anything else I can mess with before we go? No, but if you want to be anything other than a pig, do we maybe want to throw out that apple core before it rots right here on our desk? Seriously. Oh, we've got to hold it down. Look at this. What a Deceptively beautiful forest morning scene. Either morning or sunset, I'm not quite sure which. Probably morning because it seemed quite a bit darker a second ago. Wow, I can practically smell this scene. I can feel the dew seeping into my shoes as I walk. And we really are doing some remote living. Are we gonna pick up Annie first? You said we live like 50 meters from each other, so presumably we wouldn't need to drive there. Oh, look at that. It seems like our flashlight is always on. Could have fooled me. Four hours later.
Okay, let's start it here.
We are saddened to report the death of Diane Reed, the only daughter of the Reed family. Her body was found in the bathroom of their mansion at 8 o'clock this morning. The rest of the family was getting ready for breakfast at the time. Her body was found by her father, after which he immediately notified emergency services. An autopsy later showed that Diane had been dead for at least a few hours. It was ruled a suicide. It is believed she used an old towel the family kept in the kitchen to suffocate herself. The reasoning behind her suicide is, as of yet, unclear. She was so young and innocent, always happy, always smiling. I can't believe this. Life seems to hurt the most innocent souls, said one neighbor of the family after the tragedy. Our hearts go out to the Reed family during these difficult times. Robert Wright of Clover Springs was reported missing last night. He left his high school friend's house 3 days ago when he was alleged to have crossed the plant field near Route 96. Since then, all trace of him was lost, making him the third high schooler missing in 2 weeks in Clover Springs. Clover High School has temporarily closed its doors. Police advise citizens not to leave their houses after dark and to be careful.
Yo guys, it's Dean, back again with another video. Sorry for the long break. I didn't have time to record anything. Family problems, school, But we are back with a big one. I really had to dig to get these recording. But let's quit the chit-chat and get down to business. Clover Springs, quiet town in Washington, green grass, fresh air, black coffee. In there, Reed's perfect family, respected, wealthy. Yet the daughter offs herself out of nowhere. And after that, things get really weird in that small town. Few people disappear, including the rest of the Reed's family. Father, mother, and son simply vanished. No trace. After a year, the town is basically abandoned. All moved out. I went online and stumbled upon this interesting theory, in which Diane's father was responsible for those missing teenagers. Some sources state that Diane was heavily bullied in school, and that would be the reason why So the father, seeking revenge, chose those teens, buried them somewhere, and then flies to Cuba. I don't know. It's just a theory. There isn't much information about the Reeds anyways, especially about the girl. She must have never left the house or something. Well, now their house is a dope urbex attraction, and probably some satanic bullshit place. But that's every abandoned building, and also every forest.
Doesn't sound like you have a tremendous amount of respect for the history of this place. Once upon a midnight dreary, huh?
We are here. The main road has been closed many years, so I had to park the car a little further away. And let me tell you, those trees are creepy. It feels like they're looking at me.
Trees? Dude, what are you looking at? Okay, let's Begin our investigation. Oh, I love this. Swaying branches and grass in the foreground, all caught in our lights. No idea what's beyond. Oh, it's got the Blair Witch look, and I am loving it. Let's see, can we focus on the missing person posters?
Look at this handsome fella.
Well, you might be able to, but I sure can't. Here it is. Can you just imagine standing in front of a house, illuminated only by the light you brought with you, the wind blowing all around you, and knowing what happened here, and what's alleged to have happened here? I still remember the first time my friend brought me out exploring, and the sense of vertigo I got standing in front of that building. I'm feeling a more mild form of that right now, oddly enough. And this time it's nighttime and we're completely alone.
Okay, let's take a look inside.
Let's see. I will say, though, that this lens distortion is quite extreme. I'm going to zoom out as much as I can. Oh, right. I keep forgetting I have to hold it down.
Here we are. Wow, this place almost didn't age at all. And the furniture's all messed up and the windows are nailed, but other than that, pretty good. The mansion was built in the 1930s, and it seems that 3 different families lived here. Reeds were the last.
So it's been empty ever since that event.
Remember, you always gotta watch out for homeless people in these places. I once heard about a guy jump by a hobo with a crowbar in some abandoned railway station. If I had to rank what I don't want to experience while urbexing, hobos with crowbars are a close second. First are probably collapsing floors, or hobos with knives.
Yeah, tied for first, for most deadly. Clearly. Still, I like this. I like the idea of coming to this environment that is small, downplayed. Not everywhere has to be huge for video game set piece sake. And coming in with only silence and a story is a big part of the creepiness of Urbex. It's been so long since wait. Dear Todd, it's been so long since we last saw you. We're thrilled to visit you for the holidays. Lori is already planning... Oh, it actually reminds me about the flashlight here, so there is a little bit of ambient light. Lori is already planning what to bake. She loves to bake. I hope it won't be a problem if we bring something from our end. We need to somehow repay you for such hospitality. On a slightly less cheerful note, Diane won't be able to join us. She's going to a school camp. Warm regards, Clint. Okay, the ambient light is only while we're holding something. But hey, in a world where people communicate by notes, that means there's a lot more for us to find. Of course, in real life, you rarely find quite so much just poking around. However, it's not impossible. Oh, in order to get in here, we need to become the hobo with a crowbar.
May she rest in peace.
See, this is what I mean about silence in a story. But wait, the bathtub is filled. That's kind of strange. Doesn't seem like there are any leaks or anything. Huh, it's almost like somebody was just here. All these paintings have been vandalized to look like they've had their throats slit. Huh. The wind outside and the creaking of the house, all enhanced by what little we know. See, to me, this is what it means for a place to be haunted. The feeling you get when you step inside. We can see those dead branches just at the edge of our light. Looks like we can't mess with the piano, and that's probably for the best. Oh, a
This
study.
must be the dad's office. Guy's name was Clint Reed. Couldn't really find much information about him, only that he was apparently a lawyer. I tried to interview some of their neighbors, but they weren't really helpful, most of them, at least. They didn't remember any details, as if they have some kind of collective amnesia.
I must say, I also really like the echo on your voice, the way it sounds like you're actually in here. I didn't want to wake you up, so I'm leaving this note. Please speed Remy. Unfortunately, I couldn't manage it because my transportation arrived earlier than expected. I'll be back from the business trip in a week, so hang tight. P.S. If Diane's condition worsens, please inform the doctor immediately. Love. Dear Mr. Evans, I trust this letter finds you well. I'm writing to express my serious concerns about the well-being and safety of my child, Diane Reed, an 11th grade student at Clover Springs High School. Regrettably, Diane has been experiencing persistent bullying from classmates, impacting her emotional and psychological well-being. This situation is unacceptable, and I believe it is crucial to promptly address it to assure a safe and supportive learning environment for all students. I kindly request that the school administration conducts a thorough investigation into these allegations and takes appropriate measures to address and rectify the situation. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. Sincerely, Clint Reed. Well, that's probably more cordial than they deserve, and certainly more cordial than most PTA interactions. Okay, that's a magnifying glass. For a second I thought it was maybe a key. We can open drawers. Gotta be careful that there's not maybe something hiding. Okay, we've learned a little bit more. Is it time for us to head upstairs? Not quite yet. This place is a time capsule, everything left intact, nothing rotted, nothing damaged. This is a very rare find, especially something with such a reputation. Then again, maybe for one reason or another, nobody ever has the time to vandalize. In a heartwarming turn of events, 3 missing teenagers have been found safe and sound in the quaint town of Clover Springs. Their disappearance had gripped the community in fear and uncertainty, but the recent discovery has brought immense relief to both families and residents. Emily Jason, Robert Wright, and Lucy Smith had been missing for nearly a month before authorities located them in a small cabin inside the Clover Springs forest. Authorities are now working to reunite the teenagers with their families, facilitating a safe return home. While the reasons behind their disappearance remain private, the emphasis now is on supporting the teenagers as they navigate the aftermath of their ordeal. So the speculation was that they were killed by the father because they were the ones actually doing the bullying of his daughter, but well, that seems unlikely at this point. Definitely the chopping part. They were decidedly unchopped when found, it seems. Well, let's head upstairs. Looks like there's a breeze getting through that window. Look at us pushing into the darkness, the air so heavy I can feel it even through the game. And at one time, this was just someone's normal family home. Oh my god. Hello?
Oh, okay. So the brother was a ventriloquist, and that's probably his doll. Still in a good condition.
That's a really big ventriloquist dummy, my god! And it doesn't really look too much like a dummy, especially from a distance. Still, judging by those cobwebs, it's been sitting there for quite some time. Just think, anytime we're home alone, anytime it's pouring rain, this is just sitting there even when there's no one around to observe it. Or at least I'd hope that's the case. Seems like the images up here are also vandalized with red.
And that is where the parents slept. I think. All the interior was left behind. Wow.
They left a note, too. Today, late at night, as I was going downstairs to the bathroom, I saw Diane. She was standing in the corner of the dining room, right next to the fireplace, staring blankly into space. Her eyes were completely different, wide open, focused on something. I'm not sure, but I felt like I saw her twitching. Now, was this before or after she died? Because that makes a very big difference in context for the story. Either way, something more may be going on here. Need a key. Okay, this just became a key hunt. I was really half expecting you to not be there anymore.
Well, you know me. I don't give up this easily. How to find the code?
Strange that the front door just opened right up, and yet this one upstairs has a padlock on it. I'm guessing, then, that this would probably be Diane's room.
Really messy in here. I suspect this was Diane's old room.
No. They haven't left it as a time capsule, they've completely emptied it out. With a very strange choice in texturing for this wall. Well, there must be something. No, there mustn't be something. That wasn't just the regular ambiance. You stay right where you are. Okay, I'm starting to jump at every little noise. This is what every game needs to start with. Anything here? Still not that I can see. Yeah, I'm not finding much of use. Nothing about this either. See, one thing I love about this developer is that they know the meaning of restraint. Nothing's happened yet, and yet I have been thoroughly spooked this entire time. We're hearing sounds, and that doesn't mean that there's anything in here with us, but it doesn't not mean that either. And, well, we're coming into this with a ghost story on our head.
Diane, the daughter, she got very sick at one point. Something with her spine. She got really deformed. The pain was so intense, her parents were locking her up in a room just to muffle her screams.
Is that the room we're trying to get into? Also, it kind of sounds like the parents were the bullies in that case. I can hear a wind coming from here, but it won't let me try the door. Anything in these drawers? Actually, for some reason, can't open the other.
That's the boys' room.
The
hide her from the world, lock her in a room with a key, ashamed of her. They pretend as if nothing is happening, as if there aren't those dreadful screams, as if she isn't my sister, struggling to stay conscious in a small claustrophobic space, only some dying rat on the floor. When a neighbor asks about Diane, they respond that she's doing great, that she'll soon be going on a school camp. If Diane were to stand in front of those neighbors now, they wouldn't even recognize her. She's become our dirty little secret. The shame of this rich family, all very old-fashioned. Imagine what that does to not only have these health problems, but to be so plainly unwanted. Okay, but I still have no idea what that code would be. And what is up with this room? We really can't enter that? Hey. Was this here earlier? Either the doctor made a mistake, or he lied. Lied right to my face. I'll stop heeding his advice. Diane has never been so deformed. Her bones protrude from beneath her nightshirt and contort into unnatural shapes. She doesn't move all day. Her face has undergone a complete transformation, twisted in a grimace of pain, appearing as if horribly aged. And her eyes, black, raven-like eyes, empty yet very present. They stare into the corner of her room for hours on end. Okay, so sometimes when in doubt, it's helpful to just turn the lights off, because the necessary papers will glow. That was a weird shake animation. Chlorpromazine prescription. So that was the drug they were given that they eventually stopped receiving. Hello. Wait. Code 32 dash dash. So it's in parts. There's another set somewhere. Yet no, new things are definitely appearing. Sort of. I locked her. I locked Diane in the room, and I'm afraid to let her out. She started to become aggressive. Her strange behavior surfaced again last night. She began to demolish the house, throwing dishes and chairs, and then she pushed me away and I lost consciousness. When I regained consciousness, I saw her standing over our son's bed, making a sound as if she were choking. At night, she makes the most terrifying sounds I've ever heard. The first time I heard that sound, shivers ran down my spine. It was so unnatural. I couldn't match that sound to anything I had heard before. I'm still not entirely sure if it was our daughter. I'm afraid of her. Afraid that she will harm Cody. There's nuance here. I mean, on the one hand, they treated her horribly. But on the other, at least on some level, I can understand why this was so scary for them. I mean, it doesn't sound unlike demonic possession. I'm not sure this was open earlier. Is there anything new? Now it definitely seems like there's something in here with me. And I can't help but keep checking this bathroom. Honestly, even from the do you see that? Was there a window at the end there? Oh my.
Jeez, you scared me. Yeah, I'm fine. What's up? Shit. I understand. Just, I'll do it as soon as I get back to the car. I understand.
So you've got other problems. But we don't get to hear it. It's almost like we're playing from the perspective of the viewer of this footage rather than you yourself. But I've got more pressing issues. Was there a window at the end that could be making that, like, reflection? Because I sure know what it looks like. It's gone. What was that? It's the doll that I already knew was there. Okay. But nope. 25. 3225.
Hello? Who's there? Guess it must be the draft.
Was it that door there on the left? Was that also the draft? Do you also not want to try this now? Really? At least to assure yourself? I can understand not wanting to, no matter how sure you are. See, that's the cool thing. Weird sounds, doors closing, thinking you see something that isn't what you thought when you arrived. Well, those are all normal Urbex experiences. Nothing's really happened. But the story's got me all worked up. It's just a series of coincidences that are all happening one after the other. Okay. 3, 2, 2, 5. Is that a mannequin head? Is this the room they locked her in? I mean, clearly. Are those bloodstains? Oh my god. I'm sorry, wait, were you two here a second ago? Because if you were, I didn't notice you. Did they beat her with this? Well, we've got the crowbar now. Oh, we can't read any of these documents. Huh. Weird one-sided spiderweb.
The electricity tends to act strangely in these houses. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what Urbex you're doing, but I've never seen anything like this before. It's that one right there on the table. I can't bear to listen to her screams. Those blood-curdling screams. I haven't seen my sister for weeks. They haven't let her out of the room since then. She can't be treated like that. Tonight I'll sneak in and let her out. Trailed papers.
When summer comes all cool and clear, and my friends see me drawing near.
The worst part of that wasn't the music, it was the silence right after. The echo of the radio turning off throughout the house. For just a second, I saw those glowing eyes again. I adore this. I love those subtle scares that the game doesn't feel the need to call attention to. Doesn't need a scare cord, doesn't need any musical stabs. It's just there for you. Okay, well, now we can open that door. A week had passed since we buried Diane. Cody has hardly said anything since our daughter passed away. Clint has gone on another business trip. The house is so quiet that sometimes it feels like I can still hear the echoes of her screams. That's your cue. Okay, I guess it can't always be that convenient. Why board off this area in particular? I didn't do it. I mean, that easily could have just been my arm brushing it, but I don't know if that's the implication here. There's the key. Dear Todd, finding the right words for a message like this is never easy. Sadly, our beloved daughter Diane recently passed away unexpectedly. Due to this heartbreaking situation, we regret to inform you that we won't be able to make it for our planned Christmas visit. P.S. Todd, you've always been a good friend to me. I probably shouldn't be sharing this, just like I never shared it with my wife. There aren't good words to dress it up, but I hope you understand. Part of me finds solace in the fact that my daughter has passed away. She truly didn't have an easy childhood. I'm not even sure if she ever experienced a single happy day. I never saw her inviting anyone home, nor did I see her talking to any friends. Painfully, I admit that even Lori, her own mother, didn't hold much love for her. Even I sometimes involuntarily showed that strange coldness towards Diane. It seemed like the only person who looked at her normally was Cody. I knew she was bullied in school for a long time, but I ignored it. Some sick part of me found satisfaction in it. Then that horrible disease, a dreadful affliction, completely distorted my daughter. I looked at her then, but I couldn't love her. I was somewhat disappointed. When I saw her on the floor of our bathroom, completely pale, I felt relief, as if I dropped the baggage I've been carrying for years. Your friend, Clint. That was a heck of a PS, my guy. Keys to the locked room upstairs. Oh, I think that's a new note. A note in the dark, motes of dust in the air, all of it looks... Heard you before I saw you, but it didn't sound all that different from everything else. That's fresh fruit. Clint, please come back as soon as possible. Something strange is happening with our son. Lately, he keeps talking about some tall figure that follows him. He experiences episodes of complete disorientation in which he doesn't respond to what I say, doesn't move, as if he's not even there. When I tried to interrupt such an episode, he became aggressive, yelling at me. Sometimes he also talks to himself, mentioning something about Diane. I'm worried about him. Maybe he never left, and... You know, before I had said that there's nuance here, that you could at least cut the parents some slack, but it seems like their hatred of her, it was something more innate, something that even predated her condition. It wasn't just born out of fear. They were truly awful, and it seemed like something even the father recognized but didn't know how to stop, which... I don't know, it definitely does add further nuance that there's that level of self-reflection there. Now, where was that locked door? I don't quite remember. Right here, I think. I only thought of it. I only thought of it as I stepped inside, and no, you're not there anymore. Oh my god. If anybody's still here, it may actually be Cody. After all, somebody wants us to know, it seems.
Jesus, what a smell.
Flies all over. Space to study the map. Dear Diary, the doors are always closed. My mother locks them, and there's only one key in this house. Nothing can get out, and nothing can get in. I used to think I could hide from him. He calls out to me every night, and I hear the creaking of the floors as he moves through the house. I hear his skin shifting with each step, and that melody he sometimes plays. I cover my mouth then, so no sound escapes, but even that doesn't work anymore. He appeared at midnight. I couldn't fall asleep, so I sat at my desk. When I turned around, there he stood by the door of my room, staring at me. The doors were still locked. That is a chilling line to end that note on.
Looks like there's a secret passage downstairs.
So beyond the storage room. I was very nearly startled by that coat up there. So it's like I suspected, she was dealing with something before all this started happening. And Cody saw it too, something coming in the night and terrorizing the kids. No.
What was that?
I don't know, what's that? Get out of the house. Wait. I'm not going to be able to. It is not going to let me. Locked, of course, but we've learned something new. Oh, God. Is the electricity behaving strangely again, Dean? Is that what's happening? Ghosts, demons, or a traumatized child returning here? Take your pick. Could be all three. This is the same note again. The fridge. Wait, I can't believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see. There's a shadow. That's brilliant. Oh my, they've used that a couple of times now. Taking advantage of that split second where we don't have light. Alright, now we're out, now we're out, now we're out. And the doll follows us once more. Let's close that behind us. No, you really won't close that behind you? They are buried in the walls. You had said that 3 families had lived here. Okay, I got what I wanted. The door's closed now. and we can push that thing out of the way. But is it possible that this is a haunting even predating the Reeds? Alright, let's get this out of the way. See, that's the thing, is what we're dealing with could just want to get the story out, or it could be malicious. And I don't know which one it is. Need key, great. What happened to there's only one key? There must be something around somewhere. You're not holding any... Was that her? Oh my god! There was something there! There was something there! Bathroom, you said. Well, maybe you're telling me? Maybe you're telling me where the key is, or maybe you're leading me to where it happened. Horror game instinct tells me we have to drain this bloody bathtub. Key to the storage room. That's what I figured. Here's the thing about a demonic haunting that kills people. The hauntings compound each other. As the amount of death this place is seeing grows, so too does the power of the haunting. Sorry. This is much more than a secret passage. It looks like a basement. Oh, hey, it's
Holy
you.
shit!
For once, a horror protagonist has the appropriate reaction to dead, bleeding bodies. 3 of them. Now I have to wonder, do they represent the 3 remaining family members, or the 3...
Judy Flores was found in the river this morning.
kids?
The girl fell to her death from a 6-foot sorry into the rocks. First responders declared her dead at the scene. The tragedy is being investigated as a possible suicide. Judy's
in the hallway.
said she has been battling depression for a long time.
He's in the hallway. I mean, I've got to go back through the hallway. I just want to talk about something I really love about this game. First of all, the restraint that it's had getting into these scares, because it made it our goal to leave well before the more overt things started happening, or rather, just before. We lost our nerve, and then it started showing us all these things. And second, it makes very sparing use of its scares and horrific imagery, and every time we see it, it's not just because dead bodies are scary. It is actually meaningful imagery in each and every occurrence. Oh my god, my phone just buzzed and scared the crap out of me, god. Oh my god, I saw that movement, You were there the whole time! You were there the whole time, and I could not see you until you moved. Oh my god! You're still there. Ah! After all this time, I didn't think you would do it. Ending 3! The lifeless body of Dean Holt was found in Clover Springs. The cause of death has not been disclosed. I think lifeless might be an understatement, but there's other endings. The Dyer. Okay, well, I'm certainly going back for more. Suffice to say, that has lived up to my expectations and more. It's not quite as involved, not nearly as lengthy as the project that came later, which of course makes sense. But that was super creepy and definitely one of the best Urbex horror games. Because it's got restraint. It does that thing I love in horror games where it doesn't feel the need to call your attention to every scare, and your character actually has the appropriate level of reaction when the more overt scares do start happening. Oh, I hadn't even seen that this opened up. Let's keep searching. You're giving me a way out. I have to get in here? Hide. What was that? It was like a mass of flesh. Unfortunately, I think we have to follow it. Or we could go back the other way. Maybe that would be better. But we've got 2 more endings to get at least. Oh no, we're in the Silent Hill PT pocket dimension. With presumably the being that cuts the faces out of paintings. Oh no. Oh my god. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Open up. Where am I going? Are you still out there? No. What am I looking for now? I have a spine, but no bones. I have no heartbeat, yet I hold life's hook. Are you a book? Yes, you are. I was hanged by a rope at the center of town. Look higher. Are you... wait. Knock over the bucket. Okay, wow. You actually just got tired of waiting. Okay. Yes, I see that. It won't let me do anything. I found the bucket from the start. It won't let me... Hello? Oh, there's rocks over here. Okay. Well, unfortunately, everything is a lens flare here. Do I need to knock you off the thing? Well, so much for that. Can I get more rocks? Thank you. Is this my budget? I was hanged by a rope and sent to drown. There we go. Can I... does that not count as knocked over? Is that not knocked over enough for you? Thank you. Break the window. Yep. Let's go. Minutes later, that's a lot of running. Will it not be enough? $10 just to get off the property, huh? And bear in mind, we're 4 hours from home. I think I just saw something. No, okay, I don't know if I'm actually seeing something or if that's just the motes of dust in the air looking like they're going around corners or through the trees. Definitely looks like shadows are dancing all around me. I just heard now, well, that's pretty cool. Something tells me I'm still pursued. This is a path. Like, why does this even exist? That didn't sound like just birds. I mean, it kind of did, but also it didn't. Go. This is just... not looping, no. Things are getting denser, more overgrown. And I definitely feel like I've been followed. This is one case where the flashlight on the foreground definitely makes things feel claustrophobic even outdoors. I've got choices to make. I can hear chimes. I think that looked like the dummy, which has oddly enough come to be the main antagonist. Or at least a proxy for the main antagonist, which is presumably whatever demonic presence caused all this to begin with. It's not even worth trying to look, just keep moving. That's a corpse. You just fell out of the trees. Maybe I really should have been looking higher at that moon watching down at me. Oh my god, ow! Oh, was that your idea of a little prank? You're lucky this hit the lens and not my face. I think there are a few things as creepy as something going wrong and then hearing a distant giggle in the middle of the night. was always the fence.
Hello?
Behind you. Don't look at them.
Alright, Diane, our number one ally in this moment, gave us the key, told us where he was, and is reminding us to keep our heads down. But, you know, we also could have not looked at them if we had just stayed put, so, I don't know. Oh my god! That was the corpse again. Well, it wasn't so corpse-like this time. The posters. Were they trapped here while they were missing?
Hello? Hello?
More. They're out here. Okay, how sensitive is this? How much can I get away with? Dead end. I can see them down there. It's a dead end. See, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to hear me right now. Oh my god! Oh, these things are always ridiculously sensitive, and it kind of makes it hard to do my job. Yeah, I've got to say, they were a novel thing at one point in time, but I am really not a huge fan of those, like, mic input sections, because they're always ridiculously sensitive, which makes it impossible to even whisper over it, which makes it hard to do the Let's Play thing, and if you're just a regular player, literally all you have to do is nothing. I will say that this game does do a really good job of conveying that something has actually touched the player character. Because you actually flinch and it plays the sound, it's not just like a flash of red on the screen. Hey, there's something here. Never. Hello? Hello? Game? Okay, I guess we can't read this. I guess we can't do anything with that. In the end, we had to go towards them in order to make it out, but ending 5... I have no idea where else we could have split, and the only place I can think of would be going back, and that apparently wasn't an option. Well, we escaped, but there's no fanfare in the end. Okay, I have no idea how we could do 3 additional endings in this. But that was really cool. I really admire this game's restraint, and I really admire this game's willingness to be a slow burn. How that ending there wasn't a chase, but rather a crawl through the dark, feeling those things toying with us and watching from all around. The last real scare was having to overcome instinct and just look at our feet and walk towards those eyes in the darkness. We learned about what happened here, sorta, but we didn't learn why. And we didn't learn what's happening now. We were stared down by the things that inhabit this place, and we actually had some help from a previous victim. Escaping with this footage is certainly going to make us uber famous, but I don't know, was the trauma worth it? Depends on the size of the paycheck. I had a look on the Steam forums, and one of the endings is getting caught in the locker here. So let's see how this works. Come on. In. I was just sitting here wondering if I should practice my yodeling right about now. Figure this might be a good time. The acoustics in here are incredible. Oh my! Why did that still get me? I engineered that same situation. Okay, these really are just deaths. They're not actually alternate endings. That's what I'm realizing.
Hello? Who's
Oh my
there?
god, I didn't notice you before. He'll give me the key. But instead of taking it to the storage room, I'm supposed to go upstairs and back to Cody's room. And that door on the right can just go ahead and stay closed. There's another note here. Signed with blood. Signed with blood? But what do I do with it? Sounds like I'm completing some kind of ritual. Maybe bring it to her room. I don't like when the music suddenly cuts out. The lit candle would seem to confirm it. Burn the paper. Does that mean that we're rid of you? One hopes so. I have no idea what indication there was that I could do this, but... well, I suppose it's not the main ending. Look at you and your eyeless selves. So got that red flicker coming from there. Can we just leave now? We can! Ending 4. The recording from Clover Springs was never made public. However, Dean returned to vlogging, and his new content was warmly welcomed by the audience. What do you mean was never made public? You could be a millionaire! It all seemed like a dream. I can hardly remember what happened in that house. If only you had a record of some kind. Okay, so we've seen We've seen 4 out of the 5 endings. I'm just not sure what number 1 would be. Maybe it's for never going at all. So anyway, that was The Dyer. And it was precisely what I was hoping for from this experience, and exactly what I was expecting from this developer. This game understands that something like this isn't about the jump scares, it's about the wind outside, the creaking of the floorboards, our flashlight hovering over dusty old items that once belonged to someone. It recognizes that the build-up of a horror story is the best part, and so it makes most of the game the build-up. It allowed us to just indulge in the environment and the ghost story for the majority of its runtime, because it knew that was all that it needed. Just the spookiness of being in an old, abandoned, maybe haunted house. There were scares in the meantime, but nothing that would send us logically screaming into the night. It never feels like we're an idiot who, sees a dead body and doesn't go running. We actually leave pretty much as soon or right before things really, really take a turn. All throughout, there are little things that can set us on edge, but really aren't outside the realm of just normal ambiance. The first big scare that I really had was seeing those eyes at the end of the hall, but even then, it could have been a reflection on glass that I wasn't sure was there. And I like how right at the moment the player would notice it, we get a phone call and are distracted. And then it's just gone by the time we walk down the hall. It controls the pacing, it controls the tempo of our fear. It did maybe lose a little bit of subtlety in the middle part, in the basement chapter, and when we were getting out of here. But other than that, it was a fantastic experience. Even the maze at the end, for as much as I don't like the microphone thing from a Let's Play perspective, I think it really worked for the tone of it, because where most games would have like a chase or a patrolling enemy as we try to find our way out, with this it's much slower. It gives the sense that we're leaving, but only because we're being allowed to leave and only on their terms. We were told about some entity that was stalking the kids, but we've also got messages like they're buried in the walls. Hearing that there were families before this that may have also had issues. We know that there were kids lost in the woods who were later found, but we never learn any information beyond that. The pieces are here, and it keeps us guessing all throughout, but it never explicitly tells us all that much. Really, only the story of the last family is super clear by the end. And it all adds to the feeling of this place just being cursed, of always feeling watched, which is a feeling that builds throughout for obvious reasons, but which is present from the moment we arrive. There's really only a couple of jump scares, and in my opinion, they are the weakest parts of the game. I don't really necessarily like the idea of dying and having those counting as endings and having to restart and all that, because I do think it breaks up the pacing a bit before it's really intended to. I think this works better if you just go straight from the beginning to the end of the maze. And speaking of that maze, how creepy is it that on our final walk out, when we finally escaped and we're making our way to the car, it's like it calls us back in, one last effort to get us to stay. There's just so much left up to implication, and it acknowledges that we are only one small part of that we're not a hero, or just somebody who stumbled into the middle of some place that is touched in this way. I don't know, it's got a level of subtlety that so many horror games lack, and even while it's not perfect in that regard, it's definitely way above, and it shows, much like with Owlites, that this developer is committed to the experience. That's probably why I like it so much. It's all about the vibes around here, and if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. And I can't wait to see what this dev does in the future.